You! Leaving Mont-Saint-Michel with a tailwind. Yo! Happy?
Yes, hopefully 80 kilometres of tailwind today.
Off we go to Chateau Geron. On y va!
Welcome to part 5 of our bicycle tour from Cherbourg to the Ariège Pyrenees. In this video, we leave Mont-Saint-Michel and head firstly to the town of Chateau Geron for a quick overnight stop before heading onwards south to the town of Nesmy in the Vendée, Pays de la Loire region.
Top hill! Ew! So 13%. It's a toughie. Ew. But almost there. Thank God. Yay! Ah! We did it, honey. Riding down the Rue de la Forêt. What do you think so far?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Stunning green everywhere.
Woo! Forest views. Very aptly named road. The road of the forest. Beautiful dappled sunshine through the trees too. Ooh, scary birds. Happy to be riding through this and not staying in there overnight where all the scary people are. The woodsmen.
To be honest, we hadn't done a lot of research about the area of Brittany. It was really somewhere we had to cross over to get to our ultimate destination. But wow, what a fantastic place it turned out to be. And it's somewhere we will definitely be heading back to for a bigger cycle tour around the area. The riding over the course of the day was fantastic and probably helped along by that tailwind. We passed through varied landscapes and nice gentle rolling hills after that steep one earlier on. The rest of the ride was generally flat and some little bumps here and there, but wow, what a beautiful landscape. Really one of those days on the bike that the miles and kilometres just seem to slide by and it's effortless riding. For the majority of the day we were just on nice little narrow country roads that had good road surfaces, not too much traffic, which made them a joy to ride on. We passed through a number of towns and villages, and as with many before, they were quite quiet and a lot of things closed. And it's one thing we've learned, it's our first trip to France during the month of August, which is traditionally the peak holiday season for French people. And we did certainly notice a lot of towns were really quiet with everyone away on holidays. Just one of those things to be wary of if you are travelling during this time and planning on some of the smaller shops to be open in the smaller villages. You might find them closed at this time of the year, but there's plenty of bigger towns around, and as long as you're aware of it, it's easy to plan around it.
Just turned onto a beautiful sort of canal trail. Oh, I forget the name of it, I'll put it up somewhere. Canal, the Val d'Ile something?
Val d'Ile, I think.
Val d'Ile Canal?
Canal, yeah, something like that.
Helped a couple with a canal boat to actually pitch up along shore. It was quite funny. They were sort of yelling for assistance in French, and I'm here thinking, I want to help, but I'm not sure how. Anyway, here's the view of the canal. Beautiful. Surface is really good. It's that sort of crushed, hardened granite. So very easy rolling, which is nice. Beautiful wildflowers all along it and big oak trees. We were stopped under the shade of the little mini apple orchard back there. But I think we're on this for 13 kilometres, so should be pleasant rolling. Beautiful.
We really wished we could have been on this path for much, much longer, and again it's another place we want to return to come 2022 and explore it a bit further. We're only on a small portion of it this time.
Stunning. The Canal de l'Ile-Errance was opened to the public in 1832 and provided a real major shipping route in the area here in Brittany. It's now incorporated as part of the V2 Velo route and runs for 79 kilometres, so purely magical cycle touring for anyone of any level. There's no hills, it's beautiful scenery, you can just roll along for kilometre after kilometre and be transfixed by the landscape.
We arrived in the town of Châteaugiron mid-afternoon as planned and headed to the local municipal campsite where we'd booked a spot for the night. Municipal campgrounds are fantastic, they're quite basic, very cheap, but everything you need. We had a quick wander into town after dinner, and again, like many of the other villages around about, there was hardly a soul around. The streets were beautiful and lots of quintessentially French architecture and the old houses, and thankfully the next morning the boulangerie was open and we treated ourselves to some pastries and baguette for breakfast before heading off. After a final quick explore of the streets of Chateau Geron, our destination was the town of Reine, where we were jumping on the train to Nantes. I think I would say also that the train station at Reine was one of the best we encountered in terms of facilities for a fully loaded bike and getting on and off platforms. Getting the fully loaded bikes onto the train itself was nice and easy as well. The train carriage was at the same level as the platform. We were soon installed on the train and speeding across the French countryside. This particular train had racks where you hang the bike by the front wheel. It was a bit of a pain, we had to take some of the luggage off. We were on trains and later in the trip where we didn't have to do that so much, but it was still a really good setup. We could sit right next to the bikes and it all worked out fantastically.
Alright, well, we are on the train from Reine to Nantes. Why are we on the train? Because for some reason, I feel we got stuffed around by Google Maps. The place where we were booked in to stay yesterday is far, far away from the place we're booked in to stay tonight. As in about 200 kilometres away, when we were banking on it being about 80. So we rode to Rennes, which is about 17 kilometres. We're on the train from Rennes to Nantes, and then once we get to Nantes, we'll ride to our accommodation, which is, I think, about 83 kilometres. So it doesn't sound like much. It will probably still take us a good 4 or so hours. And then obviously we've got to set up camp, so it will be a long day. But It's always nice to catch a train. The trains in France are very well set up for bikes. Here's our bikes now. Ew. So, pretty great. I think the train's going along at about 160 kilometres an hour or so. Down through the countryside. I think we might... I'm not sure if we're still in Brittany or if we've come into the Pays de Loire. But yeah. Steve's happily chilling. And yeah, just resting up for 4 hours to come. It sort of feels weird that we'll be setting off for the ride at about 2 o'clock when we would normally have arrived, but it's just the way it is. Fingers crossed, it's all going to be good. You want me to walk? Oh, I need to put my collar on.
Okay.
Do that here. Well, it's been a long day. We've still got 20 kilometres to go. I think all up we'll have ridden about 110 or something kilometres for the day. Much more than we wanted. We'll probably roll into camp at about 20 to 8, much later than we wanted. When we got to Nantes, instead of the 80 kilometres we thought it would be, it was telling us it would be 97. Again, not what we wanted. Navigating out of Nantes was okay on bike paths, but stressful enough. And then we got put onto a very busy road, which was not fun. So we stopped, I got some food, replotted a course. That was still longer than we wanted. And oh my gosh, probably the first 40 k's, that was just hard work. It was like Irish roads. Really small, really rough. Left here, 300 metres right. Left here, 300 metres right. Felt like you weren't making any headway whatsoever. So, the short of it all is, we're finally on a bike path. We're heading in the right direction. Steve managed to navigate us onto some smaller roads, or a larger road rather, with a nice smooth surface, which thankfully at least cut out another 5 kilometres. And this is the beautiful cycle path we're on now. Oh yay, smooth. Still a way to go, but almost there. Bella out.
After a long day, it was nice to be on this silky smooth bike path after some of the rougher roads we'd been on earlier. This one took us into the town of La Roche-sur-Yon, and from there it was only a short distance to our final destination in Nesmy. But as you can see here, there was one final little bit of single track that we had to deal with before we got to the campsite. But once we did get to the campsite, the bar was still open, as was their pizza place, so we treated ourselves to a well-earned cold drink and pizza in the company of a goat.
Just a few kilometres now until we hit La Rochelle, and this is stunning. This is the Velocity Trail. That brings us to the end of part 5 on our cycle touring adventure from Dublin to the Ariège Pyrenees in France. If you like what you've seen so far, please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to click subscribe to see what happens in part 6 as we take on the Velocity Trail. Happy pedaling!